Yeah. But you know what I find is like, because I'm a realist, but I'm an optimist. And I what makes me happy is knowing that a lot of my fans have a lot of millennials who are searching for good music. And it's
Yeah.
like I have a nice amount of millennials who like know all my stuff. And they're
Mm.
like, love your music, we love your voice. And they are searching for that feeling because it's all about feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they hear that music, when they hear my music or this 90s music, and when you hear artists like Brownstone and Mary
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and it's like Tanya, and you know what I'm saying? It's like
Mm.
they feel something. And
Yeah.
it's like what we had. And they like that and they search for that.
Yeah.
So it says to me that all hope isn't lost. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
there is an audience coming up after us that's looking for that.
I mean, so after your third album dropped, after that didn't go, what was the transition for you then? Because what did you end up trying to?
Um, let's see. The first single was My Oh My.
Yeah,
And
you did with Keith Sweat.
oh, it's Come Around was the second single. That was with Keep Sweat.
Okay, okay.
And that was cool. It got radio play. We got on the charts and we got radio and video. It didn't do as well as I Will Survive, but it was so all about hip hop then.
Mm.
It's like all the money from RCA and a lot of majors were just going into hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Not to blame hip hop, but it got to the point where when and I was, I had reached a level of maturity where, okay, I know who I am as an artist. I know who I am.
Mm.
And even more so now, it's like, so, and there was a lot of turnover there. So the people who I was used to working with, who knew me,
Mm.
know people that I'm dealing with, they didn't know me. So
Mm.
when you come to me and say, I want you to make a record like so and so, could you give me another, what's the fourth one or whatever? And it's like, what? You know what I mean? Because one of the beautiful things about the 90s in our time, everybody sounded like themselves.
Yeah,
Nobody
everyone.
sounded like anybody else. And that was so dope about it because it was like going into this beautiful candy store and you can just get all these different flavors.
Yeah.
And it just started after that third album, everything was homogenized and
Yeah.
everything started to sound alike. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like me.
Yeah.
Sound like that. I don't want to sound like that. And it was like I parted ways. I was like, I didn't feel like they were spending enough money on my album budgets because if you're not going the way they want you to go,
Yeah.
you're not the money you want. And I wasn't about to sell out like that.
Wow.
Because it's not the biggest audience. It's not a Beyonce audience, but I have an audience that when I do a show, they're coming to see the me that they know.
Mm.
I love giving them. And it's like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing a record to sound like somebody else. Even if they're like, oh, well, just one or two singles, could you do in this vein? And it's like, that's the antithesis of creativity. Like, it's one thing to be influenced, from your history of growing up, but to set out to do a song to sound like somebody else, I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
So,
but then doing that, you probably would have known that. Well, if you're not for us, we're going to kick you out. And most people might be afraid to go against the bread and butter and the opportunity to go big.
it was scary. it was scary, and I took hits for it, but I didn't care. Because one thing I know is that I am an infinite resource. I could always write and create what I want when I want it. And now, to me, how do you put this? I miss like the big budgets and the I would be lying if I said I miss all that. But what I don't miss is the BS and the fakery. I'll say the fakery that they ask of you. Like, that just makes my flesh crawl. Like, I will never be some fake version of what, you know what I mean? It's like they really do stuff like that. Could you give me another blah blah blah? No. Even if it was a song that I wrote, why would I want to do another song just like that? So I mean, it wasn't worth it to me in the long run. And I'm really glad that I didn't cave, because what would, one thing I do have amongst my peers and my fans is respect. That's more important to me. Yes, the money is, I want the money, and I will, it will come. It will come, and it has off and on, but not in the same way. But everything that I put out, I'm so proud of.
Yeah.
And there's not one record that I have done since I left RCA that I'm ashamed of. Not one.
Wow.
Not one where I'm like, oh God, where I cringe when I hear it.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.